Congressman Kevin Brady is a Republican from Texas who will cast his vote for repeal momentarily. Congressman, good to see you again. I got to ask you, if Reid and Schumer are so optimistic about the results in the Senate, why not have a vote?
Great question. Why not just a straight up and down vote? It's a simple bill to repeal Obamacare. I think two reasons. One, they're protecting their members. I think there's 21 Senate Democrats up for election in 2012, many of them in states where those states don't like Obamacare, have rebelled against it. So I think they're afraid of losing their jobs. And secondly, I think they're afraid of losing the vote. As you recall, all the backroom deals, all the special interest deals in the bill were put in the Senate. It was not their finest hour, to say the least. In fact, I think it propelled a lot of the Republican wins in November. They don't want to go back and revisit that. So I think they're frightened of the bill as well.
All right. I'm curious how many Democrats you do expect to cross the line and vote to repeal Obamacare.
In the House, we expect some, but not too many. I say that because only 13 Democrats voted against it. Many of them are gone. In fact, the Senate or the House Democrats are actually more liberal than ever before. We expect a few to come over, but I'm thinking numbers. 218 people voted to pass Obamacare. Far more will vote to repeal it, including more Democrats.
A lot of people have totally discounted this entire conversation and said it doesn't matter, it's going nowhere, but it really seems like this is now a serious debate. And to that point, we're seeing people, their language sort of deteriorating. We had a week's worth of talk about how we have to change the way we talk about politics in Washington. Now, Stephen Cohen today, a representative, having this to say, shocking, about Nazis and his allegations about Republicans. I want you to hear this.
They say it's a government takeover of health care. A big lie, just like Goebbels. You say it enough, you repeat the lie, you repeat the lie, you repeat the lie, and eventually people believe it. Like blood libel. That's the same kind of thing. The Germans said enough about the Jews, and the people believed it, and you had the Holocaust.
Congressman, is this just over-the-top rhetoric? It seems insane to me.
Yeah, it really does. I was sort of listening to that discussion, accusing another party, anyone, of being Nazi-like, of being German-like, and that the Holocaust just seems entirely inappropriate. We never had a full debate on the health care bills, if you recall, because they jammed it through the House and Senate at the very last moment. All we've wanted to do is have a big, full, open debate now that people really can see what's in the bill. And I just think rhetoric like that just doesn't belong anywhere in Congress, at any level, frankly, of government.
Shocking. Another congresswoman today said that it was going to kill Americans if this Obamacare repeal bill was not defeated. I think, though, we're starting to see glimmers that maybe there is some area for negotiation. Here's something that Kirsten Gillibrand said. She's a senator, obviously, not part of today's vote, but she's opening the door, I think, to what could be some negotiation. She says, if we can move that conversation to what about the bill do you want to change, that's a legitimate debate that we should frankly have. The bill's not perfect. It never has been. Is this a wide open door here?
Maybe, but my guess is, because if you've looked, and you have, at the complexity of this bill, it's just overwhelming. I think 159 new bureaucratic agencies, commissions, and boards in between you and your doctor. And the heart of it, the premise of it, is that everyone in America must buy government-approved health care or pay a tax. Every business, almost every business, must offer government-approved health care. That principle is just, we're diametrically opposed to that as Republicans and conservatives. So if we start with the different principle, which is, why don't we have health care, lots of choices, open, people know the prices of it, there's competition, and people can take their health care of their choosing with them throughout their life. As that is a principle, then I think we do have some room for common ground.
Well, a possibility. I guess one thing I'd like to see is a real debate on how much is this really going to cost. Let me show you some numbers here. The CBO has said that a full repeal, that is, of the bill would cost $230 billion over 10 years. But Douglas Holtz-Eakin has run his own numbers, and he says that a full rollout of it's not a bill, it's legislation, would cost $2.3 trillion, not billion, over 10 years. There is a huge disagreement out there over the cost of health care reform. Where do you come down, and do you think this whole topic has been adequately aired?
You know, it hasn't. I think Holtz-Eakin is right. If you look at the full bill, the consequences of it, it really is closer to $2.5 trillion. CBO was constrained by our own laws that required it just to score, to expense, even the gimmicks in the bill, even when they knew it was the wrong approach, they had to come up with those numbers. So I think if you take a local accountant and say, look at this bill and tell me the full price of it, over the first 10 years or so, they would come up with more than $2 trillion. And we can't afford it. It's going to be a big driver of our deficit in the future. And right now, our deficit in our future doesn't look so good.
A brand spanking new entitlement program, just when you didn't need it.
Huge.
Thanks,
It's
Congressman
huge.
Brady. I'll let you go cast your vote. Thanks for helping us.
Thanks, Geri. Appreciate it.